Hi, I'm Tim Elkhorn, the radio play-by-play voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and you're watching Keeping It Real Sports.
I'm with Prince Bell. We watching real, Keeping It Real Sports, and we gonna be on this. We gonna be on a lot of times. I love the platform. Check in, it's the new way. Like, follow, subscribe, and do all that good stuff.
Come on. Told you I got you. Wanna talk about the game, he can talk about it. Tennis match, golf, he can talk about it. Don't matter what it is, he can talk about it. Any sport dude, he know about it. Save your boy bum, don't doubt it. If he tell you that it is what it is. The real sports guy in the Sandman. Talk show game in the bag, man. Rep, don't have to throw the flag, man. Steve Taylor, AMD Sands. It's over, OVA. Game over, they don't play. From the fourth quarter to the ninth inning. NASCAR wheels keep spinning. To the 18th hole, he's still in control. Guy on the go. Coach never missing the play, cause he know the deal. This keeping it real. Sports. Come on. Keeping it real. Yeah. Let's go.
Oh, let's go indeed. It's another edition of Keeping It Real Sports, the podcast. I am your boy, the Real Sports Guy. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and please, by all means, people, make sure you share the content because we have so much content to share. Again, I'm your boy, the Real Sports Guy, Steve Taylor. You know, he is the Sandman, Andy Sanzada, and Sandman, man, sports has reigned champions this week. Yeah. Championships are being hung. It's over now for the NBA. It's over now for the NHL. We look at Major League Baseball and the gift that keeps giving, the NFL. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Steve. You know, it's one of my favorite weekends of the year. It's Father's Day weekend. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. But it's also U.S. Open weekend, which is one of my favorite golf tournaments to watch because of all the excitement around it. And I'm just looking forward to a great weekend. The weather's going to cooperate. So I'm doing great, man. It's a good morning. It's a good day to do a show.
Yeah, it is a good day, man. You know, hey, look here, before we go anything, man, thoughts and prayers to the people in Point Place. I had a chance to go through that aftermath of those tornadoes last night, man. It is real, people. It is very real, so please keep Point Place in your prayers. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to tell you what's hot off the press.
All right, partner, hot off the press. We got an interesting one this week. You didn't expect this to be coming in with some turmoil in Buffalo. Stephon Diggs, a no-show. Going back to the regular season or playoffs, I'm not sure where this is from, but clearly he wants the ball a lot more, and that has a lot to do with it. And his quarterback even admitted, yeah, this might be my fault. Do you make anything of this, though? Because he shows up the next day after this, but at the same time, I think he's still very disgruntled. I think he showed up just to keep things on the down low, but there's some real turmoil going on, and this is a big concern if I'm a Buffalo Bills fan.
Well, it should be a concern because let's just go back to this image here. You see them in the snow, the pass plays that they're throwing down the field in the snow, they're losing to Cincinnati. When last saw the Buffalo Bills, they were losing, and Stephon Diggs wasn't getting the ball. Did you think you were going to sweep it under the carpet over the winter? Oh, if we don't talk about it, it'll go away. Look at his body language. It ain't going away. And it showed his ugly face on Tuesday. Monday when they had to show up for camp. Bottom line. So at the end of the day, guys, you're going to have to kiss and make up and get along. That's what it's all about.
I'm just curious. Do you think any of this is just for discussion's sake. This is probably nowhere close, but I'm going to say it anyway. Do you think any of this has to deal with the fact that DeMar Hamlin is coming back to play football?
No. Not at all, man. Again, it's his usage rate, man. He's a diva, man. The guy wants the ball, man. You know, it's like, dude, if he drops back and throws the ball 35 times, okay. The problem is you're getting 10 targets. Now, it ain't my damn fault that you're only catching 4 of those 10 targets, but go look at the math. I'm not lying. I'm not making this up. I'm not making it up. You know, so you want him to throw more. Wait a minute. Isn't this the same quarterback that led the damn NFL in interceptions? And you want him to throw more? Just let that sink in for a second. I'm saying, man.
And that guy.
Quick hitters.
That guy you just referred to is on the cover of a video game.
Quick hitters.
All right, start us off, partner. What do you got?
Well, when you start, man, we got to look at this guy, man, Ja Morant, man, suspended 25 games by the NBA, man. I mean, are you surprised at this, man? You're lucky that you only got 25, but why is 25 so relevant? Well, here's why, Andy. Because starting this year, the NBA's new collective bargaining agreement kicks in, where you have to play at least 65 games to qualify for after-season, postseason awards. That means NBA awards, any kind of awards of that sort. Why is that big? Because you have to qualify for those awards if you want to get a max or super max contract. What's a super max contract? You're looking in the neighborhood of $290 million. A max contract, you're looking in the neighborhood of $190 million if you make second or third team All NBA. Because if Ja Morant plays the rest of the games that he comes back and doesn't miss a game, he'll play 57 games. He will not qualify for the max or the super max contract. In addition to forking over $7 million. There's your punishment, Ja Morant.
All right, I got a good one for you. How about this? The three-time defending champion, Oklahoma Sooners, ladies softball team. They're losing their best pitcher, Steve. She's done what she wanted to do in Oklahoma, which was win a couple of national championships, and she's a little homesick. So she's going to transfer back to Nebraska.
There you go. Well, you may allude to the U.S. Open that's going off right now. And right now, where my guy Ricky Fowler is leading at 10 under, man, I love the way Ricky is striking the ball, man. The only problem that I have with Ricky is between his ears. If Ricky can clean that up, which I hope he do. Come on, Ricky. I'm pulling for Ricky. Ricky Fowler.
I think everybody's pulling for Ricky, but I'm going to be a realist, and I'm going to tell you Rory McIlroy wins the U.S. Open.
Yeah, there you go with that. And then there's that, folks.
Hey, oh, by the way.
Oh, by the way.
All right, you're starting everything off this week. What do you got?
Well, oh, by the way, man, hey, man, do me a favor. Pull up the top image that we got, man, because the Prince, friend of the show, my guy, well, not that one.
Well, you said top image. Okay.
There. That was, no. Man, I love you too, bro.
You said top image. That's the one that's at the top.
And
I have no idea what you're asking for if that's not
the
it.
top of, oh, by the way, that would be that image. So,
Okay. Well,
thank you.
Okay, there you go.
All right, but according to the World Boxing Association organization, Prince Albert Bell is rated number 2 in the boxing world, but people, not really. Because the number 1 is going to be fighting this weekend. He's number 1, whether he wins or loses, because if he wins, he'll be a champion. If he loses, he's falling out of the top 10. And guess who number 1 in the world will be? I'm just saying.
Oh, that's great. And well-deserved. I mean, he's just had a stellar career, without question. Oh, by the way, Steve Taylor, the Cleveland Browns have a new secondary logo. And this is the winner. I don't know how I feel about this yet.
Yeah.
Now, there's some significance to this logo. We don't have time to get into everything, but the spikes, the collar, the guitar pick, the stripe, it all ties into the history of Cleveland and the Browns. But there was another one that I would have preferred, but this was the one that won, so I'm going to have to accept it, just like I had to accept that stupid elf when he came around. But this is going to replace that stupid elf, I hope.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, man, but, it is what it is. It's Cleveland, so what do you expect?
Yeah, I know.
Just saying.
Hurry up. Hurry up. Hurry up.
Let's go.
It's this week's Keeping It Real Sports News. We call it the Hurry Up.
Well, we told you last week that the French Open was happening in the world of tennis, right? So let's hurry up and remind people how good these two are, because they did it again. Iga Swiatek comes from behind. Yeah, I said that right. She had to come from behind, even though she led 3-0 in the second set. She still had to come from behind and win her second straight French Open. And then, can we stop debating this, please? It's over. The debate is over. He is the greatest ever. He's got 23 now, okay? He's got a real chance, Steve, to win a career Grand Slam this year by finishing it off at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. Who's going to beat him at those two tournaments? I'll wait.
Yeah. No argument from me. Tell you what else you get no argument from me about. Man, let's go back to last Saturday night, man. Teofimo Lopez, man, against Josh Taylor, man. And honestly, some of the highlights after the third round, it was all Teofimo Lopez. He really showcased his entire talents, although he did get hit more than I thought. But the thing about it, man, what was puzzling to me, Andy, is 2 days later, Teofimo retired. I'm not quite sure, man, what that is. Head scratching. And then we go to the Octagon, where we talked about this young lady, Amanda Nunes, the GOAT. And of course, she didn't disappoint with a dazzling performance as she pummeled her way to victory. And then right on the spot, she retired. Man, I mean, what is this, man? Champions retire? I'm talking about, man, some of our greats. And I saw a boxing poll this morning, a pound for pound list, that had Teofimo Lopez at the top of that.
Yeah.
Now, that was puzzling.
It's puzzling, but at the same time, is there a better time to go out than on top?
No, man, look, man, it's still a great fight out there, man. Regis Prograis, that would be a great fight for him, man. And Regis is the guy. Regis lost to Josh Taylor. Regis has cleaned up the division. Regis has the other championship in that division at 140. Man, there's so many options. Then you got the Adrian Broner factor. Man, I just like the way this thing is coming together, man.
But think about this, Steve. The nature of what they do is getting
because he got pummeled. He got pummeled.
And maybe it's just too much at this point.
He did. He took some shots.
That's the only thing I can think of is that it's got to be related to health. It has to be.
Yeah.
Because you're right. They're both on top. There's no question about it.
Right. All right, man. Let's do some hockey.
right, before we get into a recap of the Stanley Cup Final, a big announcement this week. The New York Rangers have hired Peter Laviolette as their new head coach. Your thoughts on this hiring?
I'm not quite sure, man. Not quite sure. I thought the Rangers were doing pretty good. I mean, it remains to be seen, you know. I mean, it could be one of those Butch Cassidy moves, man. It remains to be seen.
It very well could. And they wanted a veteran coach, so I think that's a big reason they went with Laviolette. I heard a lot of rumors.
Honestly, it just doesn't move the needle for me.
Yeah, I heard a lot of rumors that Patrick Waugh might be coming in and taking over, but, you know, he's better off coaching the kids. You know, he has too much of an ego to coach adults, I think. So we'll see what happens with the Rangers next year. But on top of that, a big reason that they didn't have the success we thought they would have, we find out Patrick Kane is out for 4 to 6 months because he had to have surgery. So maybe that had something to do with it too.
Well, that's neither here nor there, man. The Rangers is yesterday's news. Let's talk about today's news.
All right, today's news is that we have a Stanley Cup champion, and that would be the Vegas Golden Knights. There's your captain, Mark Stone, hoisting up the Stanley Cup, one of the original 6 of the Vegas Golden Knights when they were first brought into the league. He had a hat trick in the clinching game. It was just a complete dominant performance by Vegas, Steve. When you look at Game 5 overall, 9-3 was the final score. You know, you go back to Game 4, and this probably sealed it because this hit right here is why Keith Tkachuk, or I knew I was going to do that at least once. Why Matthew Tkachuk missed the last game of the series wouldn't have mattered, but he just broke a sternum. I mean, he literally played through a broken sternum in this game. There was no way in hell he was playing in Game 5. I don't care how tough you are, okay? That was it. So let's take a look at a final stat comparison now of the series, which tells the story in and of itself, right? I mean, anytime you're at a combined 100% on your special teams, you're going to win. Look at what Vegas did. They were 138% between their penalty kill and their power play. But Steve, we talk about this team as a team, right? You have the Stones, you have the Eichels, you have the Marchessaults, but look at the number on the bottom of the screen. There's a reason I circled it. This team truly sacrificed everything they have to win that Stanley Cup by blocking 123 shots in only the final. They blocked 257 total throughout the playoffs. That, my friend, is how you win a Stanley Cup.
Andy, this is what I was trying to explain to you when we were debating about the winners, possible winners of this here series. You know, man, what Vegas started doing extremely well was defending the blue line, Andy. They were man on body, on stick, on puck. They were just not being separated defensively. They didn't lose it. And it all showed me what they were made of when they shut down that great line of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. They shut that down defensively. Not to mention that they stepped it up one when they played the Dallas Stars. They smothered Dallas out. Andy, this whole thing to me was decided in Game 1 when Butch Cassidy decided to go with his thug line, the force line, to go after it and say, look, the tone is going to be set. We're not taking any of your roughhouse tactics. You want to do that? We can do it too. And to me, what showed me the how disciplined this team was at the end of Game 4, Andy, when they could look every reason they could have taken penalties. Andy, they didn't take them. And soon as the clock struck 0, they started beating down the Florida Panthers, letting you know, bruh, we will smother you out. We mean this. This is serious. Man, I like the effort that we got from that team. And when you look back on it, you say, who the hell was going to beat them?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. You know, now at the same time, I think Florida just ran out of gas. This series took everything out of them. You know, they had such an easy time with Carolina and such an easy time with Toronto. I think they got a little too overconfident coming into this final, Steve.
Well, they thought, they thought 2-2-1. And the 2-2-1 theory that they were doing, they were putting 2 men on the puck, man, playing 2 men in the middle and 1 man back. That was successful for them. That's what got Boston the hell up out of here. Right. And I get it. They tried that. But, man, the way that the Vegas Knights pass the puck is so impressive, man. They do not miss rush opportunities. And Jonathan Marchessault, once again, I've been telling you, he is a sniper with a hockey stick. When he gets shot, it's in the back of the net, period, in the story.
Yeah, and he was your Conn Smythe winner, and this one could have gone either way. You know, at some point, Steve, you could have actually had this guy in that conversation because let's not forget how well he played as well.
Mr. You didn't believe in Aiden Hill.
I didn't, but he proved me wrong. He proved me wrong.
Yeah, he did. He did. But see, man, he showed me what he was made of. Again, you got to go back to the Edmonton series. He showed me what he was made of in the Edmonton series.
Yeah, but honestly,
and then he backed it up in the Dallas series.
Here's the irony of what Aiden Hill did, okay? Remember, in 2018, in the Stanley Cup Final, Game 3, Braden Holtby, right? Stopped the puck with his stick, could have turned that series around. Aiden Hill did the same thing in this series in Game 1. Could have turned that series around. I just find that extremely ironic and really happy that the Vegas Golden Knights were able to pull it off. And listen, they're your Stanley Cup champions. And
there you are. There you go. Yeah.
They've got a great chance to repeat next year with the team that they have.
I got to look at that and all of that good stuff, man, before I go that far.
Well, I'm not saying they're going to. I'm just telling you they have a great chance.
But so there you go. The Golden Knights are our champions, man. Andy, we also have another champion of the NBA variety. Let's talk about it.
All right, the Denver Nuggets. That's right. After 47 years in the NBA, have finally won their first championship. Congratulations to them. Listen, you and I, we got this one right, okay? We just didn't have the number of games right. We both said it was going to go 6. Right. It only went 5. I think for Denver's sake, it's a good thing it only went 5 because I don't know if this series tightens up a little bit going to 6, possibly 7 if they could have held on. They probably would have, but at the same time, you don't want to put yourself in the position. They knew that, Steve. They wanted to win this thing and get it over with, and that is what champions do. They go out and they put you away, and they leave no doubt in the finale, and that's what they did. Now, credit to Miami. They gave everything they had to the last minute. They played extremely well, but ultimately, it was Denver's time. It was these two guys that made the difference in the season, not just the series, for the Denver Nuggets. And hats off to Denver's owner, Stan Kroenke, as well, because he now has won a championship with the Colorado Avalanche last year. He won the Stanley Cup. He won the National Lacrosse Championship with the Mammoth last year as well. And now he's got a championship with Denver. And, oh, by the way,
he owned the Los
Angeles Rams. I was saving the best for last. You got to give me time now. Come on. And he's got 4 championships in the last 3 years.
Yeah, man, he is a great owner, man. But all of this, none of this is done with our great players. And the historic numbers that Nikola Jokic is putting up, the 30, 20, 10 triple-doubles. I mean, are you serious, man? Look at the names. It's Jokic, 3 of them. The great Will Chamberlain's up there with 1, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But, man, the Jokic factor is real, people. It's real. Man, the pick-and-roll action that they use with him, the guy seems to always be in the right place at the right time. He always seems to make the right moves, man. Again, let's go back and look at what we highlighted at how good the pick and roll is of Jamal Murray and this man in your picture, Nikola Jokic. Here is why Denver is so hard to defend, because the action starts this time with Murray. Now he's waiting for the action to clear over the top. Jokic sets the initial screen. Now, Here's where it gets tricky because Bam is in a jigsaw puzzle. He don't know whether to go with the ball or whether to stay with his man. He goes with the ball. Immediately, Jokic cuts to the basket. Now he has Bam on his back. Murray makes the right read. It's an and one possibility. This is what makes Denver so difficult to handle.
Yeah, we saw that throughout the series, Steve.
Yeah,
and there's
time and time again.
And the other thing that impresses me so much, everybody talks about how great LeBron is when it comes to his basketball sense. I think this guy's better. I really do. I think this guy has better vision. I think he knows how to make the right play all the time. And I'm going to go out and say it. It has nothing to do with being a hater. I've seen firsthand him never make a mistake when it comes to cutting, screening, passing, or making the decision to take the shot.
Well, here's where, man, I'm going to press. I think he is one of the top players in the league, man. And, man, all of these European players seem to be, really good at doing everything. But let's just go to look at some of the help that he's had. And we talked about Jamal Murray, but, man, Aaron Gordon. And then what I think, more so than anything, Andy, was the move that Malone made. Nobody talked about it much. Malone took and put Aaron Gordon, 6'10", on Jimmy Butler, okay? Mm-hmm. And you normally don't see that. And, Miami never really found a way to beat him off the dribble. Look how much bigger he is than Jimmy Butler, man. Jimmy Butler really was nullified with the size of Aaron Gordon as to some of the smaller players that they were playing against him early on.
They made Jimmy Butler a jump shooter.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Because of the
and
size
they were willing,
because of the size.
Exactly. And they were willing to take that chance on winning the series on Jimmy Butler being a jump shooter. And Steve, they were right. Jimmy Butler didn't deliver. He did not deliver.
Well, a lot of it was coaching again. Malone is a good coach. So Malone took, man, the same zone defense that the Heat had been successful with, and they used it against them at crunch time. And I want to illustrate the defense of the zone variety that they were using. So let's take a look at it. That's the way the Miami Heat can defend the pick and roll is by employing the 2-3 zone. And that's walling off the back wall and forcing the ball into the middle of the floor where they have a wall to help out, leading to a rebound and fast break opportunity. So that said, they waited until the most crucial point of the game to give the Miami Heat the same thing that they had been getting. And let's illustrate that. I want to look at, Andy, is Jimmy Butler, how effective he was down the stretch, because whatever you say what you want to about Jimmy, when it's time to go, Jimmy's going to go. Mm-hmm. But I want you to see the defense that the Nuggets employed when crunch time came.
To Jokic in the middle against the zone, but finding it later on.
Martin to Butler. Butler, corner three, nails it. This building is bedlam. Butler nails another. Back-to-back threes from Jimmy Butler.
Not the two previous ones.
Butler now aggressive, looking for a shot. Backs in. Perry shoots and scores. And the Heat take a 1-point lead. Lowry picked up
game's on the line here.
Murray is on Butler.
Now watch the zone defense in the middle of the floor right there. They anticipate the pass out, and they seal the deal. They basically stole the play that the Miami Heat had been running against them. They stole it and used it at crunch time and won the championship.
Yeah, excellent breakdown right there, partner. No question about it. But to me, I think the other thing that doesn't get enough attention is the defense of the Nuggets throughout this series. You talk about the matchup of Gordon on Butler. How about Caldwell Pope? He came up with that steal. He had some other big steals as well. How about the guys off the bench? I mean, the bench to me was another big difference, Steve. You had Bruce Brown, Christian Braun, Hell, even DeAndre Jordan got his name in there and had a couple block shots when Jokic got in foul trouble in Game 4. So, you can look at the series a lot of different ways. No question it was all about Murray and Jokic, but a complete team effort. We talked about it when we were breaking down the Stanley Cup final, right? Vegas, complete team effort, sacrificing, blocking shots. Denver did the same thing, Steve, when it came to their defense. It was a complete team effort, and Michael Malone has to be mentioned now as one of the most intelligent coaches in the NBA.
Absolutely. You got all you can call him what you want to. Champion is what you better end up with, man.
Yeah. So, well, that brings us to an interesting point for us, right?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, the seasons are over. We're talking about football, hockey, basketball. Baseball is a long season, okay? We'll get to baseball when the playoffs come around, right? There's just too much. There's not enough going on. So with that in mind, we have done 89 shows now over the last 2 years. Pretty special. And it's all because of you at home watching. So we thank you for that, without question. But it's a lot of work for Steve and I, okay? You guys probably don't understand everything that goes into this show. So because of that, because of where we are in the world of sports, we're going to take just a little hiatus over the next couple of weeks so that we can refresh, gear up, recharge our batteries, and get ready for season 3 of Keeping It Real Sports.
Get ready, because season 3 is going to be epic. We can't wait. We got so many special things planned for you. In season 3, we will be on ESPN Radio. So a lot of special things coming up. We got a lot going on, man. I'd like to take the time to say happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. Y'all get your shouts out, man. They give us one day, man. Look, man, y'all need to shout out Pops when you turn on that light switch and the lights come on. Happy Father's Day.
Hey, happy Father's Day to you, buddy. Because you're part of that group. So you deserve some of those accolades as well. Hey, we better let everybody know, though, when we come back, there's a big change.
Yeah, man, but it's gonna be bigger and better than ever. But rest assured, we got a show coming to you next week. So don't worry, man. You'll get much more of Keeping It Real Sports, man. Just tune in, same time, same bat channel. We'll see you next week. So until next week, next time,
we wish you love
and peace. Chuck them deuces.